public hearings for code enforcement violations. These hearings are quasi-judicial, and I am the special magistrate appointed to hear these cases. Formal rules of evidence do not apply, but fundamental due process shall be observed. Everyone who has a case today will have an opportunity to present testimony. You may present evidence or witnesses to testify on your behalf. There is no public comment portion. You must be a respondent or be called as a witness in order to speak on a case. Everything today is being recorded, and all testimony will be under oath. When you are sworn in, please provide your current mailing addresses so any orders get to the right place. The city will present its case first, and information will be displayed on the screen. Documents may be provided by the city as evidence. The city's PowerPoint presentation will be entered into evidence unless objections are made. After the evidence is presented, I will make a ruling. That ruling will be reduced to writing and mailed to you. Right now, let's go ahead and swear in the witnesses, any of the officers, and anyone in the audience who wishes to testify for their case. Please let me swear you in. If you're going to talk about your case, which I assume all of you want to, then I need everybody to raise your right hand and be sworn in. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? So help you God.
I do.
Very good.
Good afternoon. How are we doing today, ma'am?
Great.
Our first case is a Massey hearing. It was case number 23-55, Applewood Apartments, LLC, and they are present today, and the inspector is Kyle Mack, who's present as well.
Alrighty, so I've got the notice of hearing.
Thank you. So this will be Exhibit 1. This is the notice of hearing and the affidavit of service of the notice of hearing.
All right, so for this one, it was Applewood Apartments. Violation address was 4749 South Washington Avenue here in Titusville. Mail to address was 5713 Grand Avenue, Suite B, Duluth, Minnesota. And this had to do with the damage to the underground fire line. So the initial violation was permit required, just needing to get the fire underground permit to make the necessary repairs. I had checked this morning, no permit had been applied for. Work without a permit, same thing. We were under the impression that work had been done to repair the fire line without the permits, thus that issue. The fire sprinkler valves need to be labeled and then just have appropriate inspections for that system.
Yes, ma'am. The second violation, work without permit, was put in compliance at the earlier hearing.
That was the one that we had
Okay.
removed. So I had put that on there. I was using the original, so you can ignore number 2. We kind of combined it with the first one.
I can't
So
read that, so I don't know which one you're talking about. On the agenda, we've got a 1, 2, and a 3.
Yes, ma'am. 2, NFPA 1-1.7.15, work without a permit was put in compliance at the earlier hearing last month.
Oh, last time.
yeah, last time. So I was using the original when I made it. So.
And I went ahead and removed it from the
Yes,
agenda.
I remember that. Okay.
So with that there, I think that was all that was on there. I spoke with the representative of the property right before the meeting. They have all of the kind of components to get the permit. They're just waiting for basically city staff to be here to accept it. So I was just going to ask for a 30-day extension just to give them time to apply for the permit. And then once that's in, we will be able to get it and basically clear all of the violations.
So, the order was to comply by November 13th.
Yes.
And was there some, extraordinary reason why they weren't able to comply?
The permit needed to be submitted to the Deputy Director of Community Development. She's just not here today.
Okay,
He showed me all of the paperwork. It is all there.
Okay.
It just needs to be submitted. So I had suggested just after the meeting, go ahead across the hall and go ahead and submit everything.
okay. Because normally we don't give an extension at a Massey hearing. I don't know what, City Attorney, Mr. Tolleson, do you have any comment, any objection on?
I would like to hear from the respondent as far as when the required documents were prepared and ready to be submitted and the steps that have been taken since the last hearing, please.
I'm going to agree with that.
He's right over here.
Let the respondent come on up or the representative come up. I remember this from last month, and I think we thought that 30 days was going to be a sufficient period of time. And because we don't normally extend the time when we come to the Massey, then we'd like to know what, or there's some kind of extenuating circumstances. All right, if you could go ahead and give me your name.
It's Matthew Myers, Meyers.
And you were here last time.
Yep.
What can you say?
Well, basically, if you want to take a look at this sheet, it'll help. So this is from our contract. This is the last piece of paper we needed. Can you see it? I didn't see that until Friday.
Okay, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'll give this back to you after I read it. So this is.
Sorry about that.
Powell Fire Sprinkler Systems, repairs to fire line. Here's the proposal. Dated November 11th. Okay,
So the city needed that for the pre-con meeting, and then
okay,
it says here that they'll issue the permit at the pre-con meeting, so they wouldn't give me the meeting until then. And I did send Mandy another email letting you know that I had all the final documents.
okay.
So that was just the last one we were waiting on, so I wish I would have had it before now, but that was kind of out of our control. People kind of do the work when they want to do it, unfortunately.
Yes. At the last meeting, there was a discussion about, okay, that was the work without a permit, which we removed that violation. So it looks like it was just an underestimate of how long it would take to go through the process.
Yes, I didn't expect this long for the contractor to get me what I needed,
Okay,
so
all right, 30 days, that's fine.
great. I sure appreciate it and appreciate everybody working with us.
Okay,
Thanks much. You have a great afternoon.
thank you, sir. Okay, that's it for the Massey hearings?
Yes, ma'am, we're now in our initial hearings. The first hearing is 23-56, C Cube's Landing, 3310 South Hopkins Avenue. The inspector in this case is Ken Hutchings, and Mr. Lee did arrive and however has not been sworn in prior.
Okay. I'll swear you in when you come up.
Good
Yeah.
afternoon.
Good afternoon.
As introduced, I'm here to present case number 2356 and the respondent, C Cubes Landing LLC. And first I have submitted to evidence affidavit notice of hearing, notice of violation affidavit, and the cost recovery sheet.
Thank you. Exhibit 1 is the city's notice of hearing for today and the affidavit of service. Exhibit 2 is the notice of violation and the affidavit of service. And then the third exhibit will be the cost recovery statement, where the city is seeking costs in the amount of $146.14
Thank you.
admitted into evidence.
Okay, again, the respondent, C Cubes Landing, whom has an address of 5155 South Washington Avenue, Unit 203, Titusville, Florida 32708. The violation address is at 3310 South Hopkins Avenue, Titusville, Florida. And everything was mailed to C Cubes Landing, again at 5155 South Washington, Unit 203, and again, Titusville, Florida. And the violations and these codes defined, number 1, section 28-151, outdoor storage, exterior depository, stockpiling, safekeeping of materials, products, merchandise, vehicles, trailers, and the like commercial or industrial properties. Number 2, section 6109, 2018 IPMC, 304.1, general exterior maintenance. And that'll be the interior of structure and equipment therein should be maintained in good repair, structurally sound, and in a sanitary condition. And the third violation is general interior maintenance. Again, IPMC 2018, 6109, and section 305.1. Interior of the structure and equipment shall therein be maintained in good repair, structurally sound, and in a sanitary condition. So the initial inspection was on 7/26 of 2023.
Can I ask
Where-
one question? I'm
Yes,
sorry
certainly.
to interrupt. I'm looking at the notice of violation. I only see 2 violations. I have 78-151 outdoor storage and IPMC 305.1 property maintenance. Take a look. Well, this was the one I got ahead of time.
Interior damage, outdoor storage.
Yeah, the hearing notice has it all, but the actual
actual
notice of violation.
Okay.
So we're gonna have to strike that
We'll
one
strike it,
unless
yeah.
you have another one that you didn't,
I don't.
okay.
So we'll,
And that one is,
so we're looking at outdoor storage and interior, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
outdoor storage and interior,
Okay.
yes.
So for now, we'll be striking the exterior.
Yeah, I mean, you can always renotice.
Yes, ma'am.
Nothing wrong with that. So the second one on the agenda, we're going to strike that violation. Okay, sorry.
No,
Took you
no,
off
thank you
your
for bringing that
flow.
to my attention.
Okay, go ahead.
So we'll start off with the photos, and this is again, section 28-151, the outdoor storage. And the next slide was going to depict the exterior damage, but we'll pass this one up. This next photo is again, 6109-305.1 general interior maintenance. And this was caused by a roof leak where the entire ceiling within an active business had literally fallen in. Drywall has fallen. I don't know if any members of the trust are structurally sound, if there's been any compromise within that, but it did in fact compromise the entire ceiling. And as you can see, all the installation has now fallen as well. And again, as of today, property remains in a non-compliant state. And again, 28-151 of the outdoor storage and 6109-305.1 general interior maintenance.
What were those items in the outdoor storage?
Washers, dryers, stoves. It's a small appliance store.
And I know we've seen this respondent before, but not for these particular violations?
Not at this particular building. The property just to the north of it had the same violations.
Got it. Okay.
And the recommendation is order the respondent to correct the violations on or before 12/8 of 2023. In order to correct the violation, the respondent must remove outdoor storage, apply for any necessary permits that will be needed for interior repairs. Also order the respondent be assessed administrative costs in the amount of $146.14. The respondent does not comply by 12/8 of 2023. A fine of $250 per day per violation should be imposed for each day the violation continues.
Thank you.
Thank you.
If you'd like to come up, I can swear you in. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? So
Yes.
you go. Okay.
Well, thank you.
Can you remind me what your name is, sir?
My name is Tuan Lee, and I'm the owner of the property. I don't know if you might know, it's or not. This property has been there and it's been really bad condition for the last at least 10, 20 years. And I'm just recently buying the property, and there's a lot of unnoticed that I don't know when I do the process of purchase, and then during the time of the COVID happened, and I have all other property to take care and stuff like that. However, I'm trying to apply some fund and support from the government as well as the EDC. And I have been working with the EDC for the last year, and it just recently, in the last month, they just approved for us from some budget to help us, which is the cost that we have to put out to repair it approximately as a $1.4 million. This is not a small number. So we've been working with the EDC, and the mayor, Mayor of Titusville was there too. So they just approved for a partial of the fund to help us to fix the property as well. So I don't have a change.
So this particular unit?
No, the whole thing. So the plaza is really bad. It's a ground zero. It's really bad. And I buy from Billboard. It has been like this for years. And in the past, Ken may know that I bought some property and I fix them up nice. I mean, not 100% on all property, but I'm working on it. However, this one is a particular one is also the same problem too. It's really bad. However, the inside of the property that Ken just sold to you is I has been moved that tenant to another spot already, and there's nothing inside right now because I know there's some leak on the roof, but I don't want to fix is right now while I'm working with EDC, try to fix the whole picture, the whole thing, not just a unit, because it doesn't make sense that I'm going to patch here and patch there, and then it's going to come up with more problem.
Well,
So,
I don't think that'll work.
so I'm just done with the EDC already. The mayor was there on that day too. Now, the next process is I'm working with the GC guy right now to get a plan, and we have to work with the architecture because it's not a small job. Now,
But you're talking about the whole thing.
the whole thing, I'm going to fix the whole thing, not just fix one particular
But
one.
I've got to
Yeah.
just focus today on this one particular.
That is already moved. The client is no longer there. The picture that Ken just saw, the inside that unit, that customer is nobody longer able to go inside because it's locked up already. I mean, recently, last couple weeks. So that particular unit is no longer been used. It's just vacant, empty spot right now. We put a lock on it. Now, I already talked to other tenants that they have to remove their car or they have to take it away. Now, there are some other unit I have to break the contract to make them move out. So I have to take care part of the contract and stuff like that. So the whole front strip right there is nobody inside right now because I just canceled some of the contract. We changed the contract so the tenants is not longer to be back there. There's some trailer and stuff like that. I told them to remove it. If not, my next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna call the tow truck or whatever so they can tow whatever trailer is staying there in not a proper way. However, another property has car park outside. I already tell them and they will move everything out by the end of this month.
I think for this violation, the officer was talking about the appliances that are just sitting out there.
Yeah. So I just send a text message to the owner of license. I say him everything has to be zero and clear, or you have to move out too. So I send a message to them already. I have to make sure because I understand that the property is look bad on the street, but then they put too much in the front and all over the place. Which is I understand. And I really appreciate that Ken tried to bring it up too. You know, in other hand, for me, it's hurt me, but then in other hand, it's good that I have to push the tenant to clear it out too. But anyway, I already tell the tenant they have to clear. I mean, this tenant is one of the tenant. If I tell them today, they move it, and next day they go back to the same thing. So he might listen to this, but I don't care. So what I'm trying to do right now is I'm working on the this property right now to make it look better for the city of Titusville, and this is going to be a lot of money for us. But I'm working on it. I can ask the EDC to send a letter to all of you that we already get agreement to work on this project, and we have it done within from 1 to 2 years because it's not a smart thing, but we just get approval.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ken, if you want to come back up. So, are you aware of this agreement and this
I wasn't
funding?
aware of an agreement. I was aware that Mr. Lee was attempting different avenues with regards to finance for the repairs. But I didn't know as far as how it's been progressing, yay or nay as far as approval, whether or not he went with some other avenue in order to go ahead and start getting this repaired.
So, just to clarify, this violation is for, are there multiple units
Yes,
here?
there's a footprint address of 3310. One of the storefronts are actually addressed 3310, and that's a progression from that point, even numbered up with each individual unit.
Okay, but the violation applies to just a particular unit?
The interior applies to just one particular unit, and with regards to the exterior, that was going to be going towards the entire building, and the exterior or the storage would have been as well for
For the
footprint
whole.
address.
Okay.
The entire,
Okay, so the outside storage applies to the whole address, but the interior repairs applies to one particular unit.
3310, correct.
In today's inspection, was the outdoor storage still on site?
Yes, as I drove by, it was in fact still on.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I don't know if the city has any knowledge of this agreement.
No, ma'am, I have no knowledge of any agreements between Mr. Lee and whomever.
Okay. Mr. Lee, if you'd like to come back up.
It was my fault that I did not report to the coast enforcement what we're working on, but I'm trying to do my best, and it's my mistake that I did not mention about that. But yes, as of today, I agree, can say the appliances, but I know for sure from now on, I will make sure that appliances guy don't put anything in front, and I will say if the city charge me, you're gonna pay for me. So that's what I'm gonna push on them. At the same time, and I will try to fix this building, restore the building. So this is very important for the city, not just only for me, but I'm look forward to get it done, and I can have the EDC to send a letter that we has been working on this for months.
Yeah, I don't know what the EDC is.
Economic Development Commissioner, which is Prevar Economic Development Commissioner. So they hold a meeting every month down on US 1, and the mayor as well as other city commission was there for the hearing too. So they have a whole bunch of things going on, what's going on with the city, how they want to develop and things like that. So I've been trying to work with them for multiple projects or multiple stuff to make city look better anyway.
So under this agreement you have for funding, does it have a timeline for when you're supposed to have things done?
I have to have it done within 2 years because the funding, if I don't do it, it's burn the fund. So I have to make it done, and on top of that, we have to get all the design and everything in place because I have to work with architecture as well as permit and all other stuff too. But I have, I already working on it. Yeah.
Code manager?
Yes, ma'am. If I could suggest 30 days on the outdoor storage by next meeting and 90 days for him to achieve whatever permitting or facet he wishes to go.
Sorry. It's impossible that I can make the permits within 30 days because we don't have a drawing. 90 days because we have to get the drawing and all that stuff.
Well, I understand all of that, but you can be sending the submittal stages through to the city.
And for this
Okay.
violation, it's just for that unit that
Okay.
has the ceiling.
Okay, all right. Okay, so as long as the city work with me, I'm trying to do my best too. I'm not ignoring. It's my property. I pay money for it, and I don't want. If it's bad, I don't get any attention anyway. So I'm losing money right now too.
I think that's a reasonable proposal, is that the 30 days for the outdoor storage, that shouldn't be, that wouldn't be part of your EDC agreement anyway, I wouldn't imagine. It's just getting people to get their stuff out. The 90 days in order to initiate the interior repairs to that ceiling, that seems very reasonable to me as well.
Because Ken would concern the units were open for business, but now the units is no longer a business. It doesn't make sense that we fix the inside and the roof is go back to the same thing. So we try to fix the roof and the part of it first before we fix inside. That's why I have been moved the tenant to another spot. So there's no longer access to the place, and I take care of that. And I don't know, Ken know about that or not, because we just done this recently. And all the appliances in front of it, I will make an action as soon as I get out here. And I took a picture here. I say, hey, you have to clear this out because it's $250. So I'm already taking action while I'm here already. So the inside the unit, nobody can access to the space. I don't know, Ken know about that or not.
I
but-
do understand that, and that does make it, I guess, less significant if there's no longer an active business in there. But I don't know that the city would necessarily agree that you wouldn't need to still fix it, regardless of whether anyone's in there, because it could have an impact on other units and could just keep getting worse and worse with all the rain.
So the unit next to it, we already canceled the contract with the tenants as well. So technically, that I try to stop the tenant if they want to get out. We let them out. So I'm trying to restore the whole property right now.
I do understand that, and I understand as a business person how it makes sense to you to, you're getting your funding to fix everything, but there happens to be a code violation issued on this one violation for the ceiling and the water leak in there. Do you have Code Manager Tolson, did you have anything else to add? Okay. Do you have a request in terms of how long it can take you to repair the ceiling in that particular unit?
Ma'am, because before, if without move the tenant out, I have to fix them. There's no excuse for that. Mm-hmm. But because I moved the tenant out already, I don't know, Ken know about that or not, but I have to, and as of today, tenant is no longer to be accessing that unit as well as customer. So now that property is no longer dangerous to either tenant or customer because they cannot access back to the place.
I do understand that. I understand that position. That's why I said it doesn't seem to make it quite as urgent since there's no one occupying that unit, but it's still a violation that needs to be corrected.
Yeah. That's why I say I'm going to fix the whole building, not just only that unit. So I'm working on for a bigger picture, not just one unit. What I'm trying to do right now, it takes me time, but I'm going to get everything done at the same time. Okay. Not just because I'm already moved the client out. They no longer access to the place.
Mr. Lee, after this hearing, there's going to be a second hearing. It's called the Massey hearing. And what the city's requesting is that you have 90 days to begin the work on the interior renovations. And at the second hearing, before the order is imposed, you will have an opportunity to come back and update the city and let us know how far you've gotten along with this project, because at the end of the day, we can't give you 2 years for a violation. And you're going to have a deadline for the case that's being presented to the magistrate today. The city's being flexible in that we've modified the suggested time from 30 to 90 days for the interior renovations. So that will allow you additional time to get started on your work.
I can do the follow-up and come back in here in 90 days, but if I just fix the inside, it doesn't have you or me at all, that I have to fix the outside first.
Here's what my 2 cents would be. I tend to agree that for the outdoor storage, that can be done within 30 days. And so at our meeting on December 11th, hopefully that outdoor storage will be all taken care of and there'll be no fine. At the December 11th meeting, I would like to hear your progress on the interior repairs to that particular unit to see if we can find that you're at least moving along with the repairs to that ceiling, the interior of that particular unit. I know you have in mind how you probably want to make the repairs to the whole plaza, but because there's a code violation on this one, that one has to take some priority. And 90 days, in my mind, is reasonable. So I'm going to go ahead and find that notice of hearing was provided, that the respondent did appear, that there is a violation of section 28-151 outdoor storage and IPMC section 305.1 general interior maintenance, particularly relating to the ceiling having been compromised due to water leaks, the outdoor storage violation. The order will be that that violation should come into compliance within 30 days. And the interior maintenance shall come into compliance in 90 days with an update provided to the magistrate at the December 11th meeting, or as soon thereafter as can be accomplished. The costs in the amount of $146.14 shall be imposed, and any compliance, please contact Mr. Hutchinson and let him know as soon as you are ready to have him come back to inspect. So that order will be drafted this week and will go out in the mail this week to the address that you've provided. Any questions?
Well, again, thank you, but I'm going to make an action on the outside stuff, and which is as fast as I can, and I will make sure the tenants is not going to do the same, because it's pulling my hair too, because they just put it out and I have to keep telling them. Anyway, so we will discuss more about the inside stuff like that when I have more better resolution and better understanding, because I don't want to argue and we're not on the same page here. But yes, we will discuss more within the next 90 days for the inside of the unit.
I think we both understand each other. I think you have different priorities than the city.
No, it's because look at it this way. This way. If this tile is bad, right? This tile right here is bad, but I know that it's leaking from the top. And if I replace the tile for him to do the inspection, and without fix the top, it doesn't make sense. After he left, 7 days later, it's come back. So
I understand that. I do.
yeah, but we will discuss within 90 days. Let me make some action, and you will see that, and we'll discuss more.
Okay.
Because this topic is keep going, and I don't want to argue here, and I want to take care of the stuff.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right.
Our next case is 2358 Dorothy Harris, 3130 Barnett Avenue. The inspector is James Flanagan, and Ms. Harris is present.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
3 items to submit. This is the affidavit notice of violation, notice of hearing, and the cost recovery affidavit for $198.97.
Thank you. So Exhibit 1 is the notice of violation and the affidavit of service of the notice of violation. Just double checking. And we've got weeds and overgrowth, rodent, accessory structures, overgrowth. Is there 2 overgrowth and weeds? Junk and debris. And operative vehicles. Okay. So there were 2 notices of violation that went out.
Yes, yes.
Okay. And that will be exhibit 1. Exhibit 2 is the notice of hearing for today. And exhibit 3 is the cost recovery statement in the amount of $198.97. Okay.
Okay. It's case number 2358, Dorothy Harris, 3130 Barnett Avenue. The mail to address is the same. And the charges are the 302.5, the rodent harborage, 302.7 accessory structure, 302.4 overgrowth, which has been complied since I did this.
Oh.
So we can scratch that off. The junk and debris, 1223, and section 1373, the inoperative vehicle. This case started in July 13, 2023. The original notice of violation was posted on site by Ken Hutchings. The date given to originally comply was July 23rd. Notice of respondent was also mailed on the 13th. And the notice of hearing was posted at City Hall and on the property, posted at City Hall and on the property on October 11th and certified and first class mailed on November 1st. I'm sorry, that would be backwards. It was mailed on October 11th, and it was posted on November 1st at the property. My error. This case was originally started by Ken after receiving complaints from the neighbors of several violations. One of the originals was someone living in the shed in the backyard. While in the shed, they were leaving trash and food wrappers, et cetera, in the backyard, which caused the infestation of rats and rodents. Throwing the wrappers in the backyard, which caused it going into the neighbor's yard where the rats and everything. I followed up on this case and found that the subject no longer lives in the garage nor the shed, and I did observe other violations are still present.
Did you observe any
Yeah.
evidence of rats?
The only evidence I could see is that both neighbors both have rat traps and stuff out there, but even with the admittance of the one neighbor, they haven't seen a rat in a while. I don't know if
Why don't we
they
go ahead and,
ate all the food and it's gone, but the wrappers and the junk and everything are still there. Yeah.
all right, well, if you haven't observed it and we don't
That's
have
fine.
anyone to testify, then we're gonna
That's
take
fine.
that one off.
Absolutely, that's fine.
Okay,
This would be the violation of the fence, the accessory structure. This was the original picture that was taken. The slats are missing. You can kind of see it's angled and tipping down. This is the follow-up picture that I took on the 2nd of November from the neighbor's yard with permission from the neighbor. You can see more slats missing and the fence falling as well. And irrelevant, but there is a rat trap sitting there right there on the ground. I understand. And this is through the fence, through the missing slats. You can see the junk and debris. And this is the original picture of everything being thrown out in the backyard. This is right next to a shed that was the gentleman apparently was living in.
what kind of stuff is all, just general,
Paper plates, food wrappers, cups, cigarettes, all kinds of issues. Candy wrappers, everything. And this is the follow-up picture I took through the fence from the neighbor's property. See the debris is still there. Beer cans, other soda bottles, different food wrappers, everything's still back there. This is the vehicle that's in the driveway. Hasn't moved, still in the same condition. This is the original picture. This is the follow-up picture that I took on this the 1st of November. You see all 4 tires are flat with no indication that it's even moved or any condition to move. And again, the conclusion to the facts, the accessory structure, the fence is falling, requires repairs. The overgrowth has been taken care of. The debris, junk and debris, the trash and debris need to be picked up and properly removed. And the inoperative vehicle with the vehicles with the flat tires in the driveway. The recommendation is order the respondent to correct the violation by December 8th. In order to correct the violation, the respondent must correct the fence. The junk and debris needs to be picked up and removed from the property. The vehicle either needs to be repaired and properly registered, stored in the garage, or proper covering or removed from the property. As requested, the respondent be assessed the administrative cost of $198.98. If the respondent does not comply by December 8th, it is recommended a fine of $50 per day per violation until all the violations are corrected, and to contact me for reinspection.
Okay. Did I set a daily fine on the last one?
No, ma'am.
What was the recommendation?
$250 per violation per day.
And that was up on the screen, yes?
Yes, ma'am. And it's in the PowerPoint as well.
Okay. Just hit me. Okay. And have you been in touch with the property owner?
No, I have not. I tried making contact with the door, posted the notices, letters, the reviolation notice I sent out. That's why you have 2 notices of violation on there, because one was certified mail, and have had no contact with them. And they are, I believe they are here today.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
All right, if you would like to come up, I know you've already been sworn in. And if you could give me your name and your address.
Get the microphone for
Can I do it so I can see her?
I can hear you. Are you Miss Harris? You Miss Harris?
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
And can you tell me your address?
Pardon me?
Can you tell me your address?
My address, 3130 Arnett Avenue, Titusville, Florida, 32780.
Okay. What do you have to say about all the junk and trash in the yard, the vehicle in the driveway, and the fence that's falling down?
Well, the thing is with our house, it was in the backside of the big old golf course. And when they shut down, there was my house and the couple that were there. The other side did the same thing, where they had property and then they made homes in their 50 substantial house when they're connected with the golf course across the street. So when they went, long before they put the houses in there, they went in there and they took the trees out, and what was in there was rats and everything else that they accused me of. But I was in the middle of both of them, and so I did my best. I have 8 children, and I treasure them. And I think that if they had to spend one day with me during that period, they would be wanting to get out of there because, you know, it's hard. Now, the way it is now, he just had an operation. That's my husband, Eddie. And he had to take a couple of weeks off with no air and water and things like that. He had to be stay there. But when he went out, like to come here today, we brought he brought them in we had to hire one. So I don't know, even this other gentleman talking about that thing that he did, it was oh so wrong.
Okay, I don't know what you mean.
Pardon me?
I don't know what you mean. What other gentleman?
Was he talking to, about coming to my house and having this spray inside of my house? Because if he was,
No,
you know,
not today. That
not
wasn't talked
today.
about
Well, maybe
today.
it'll come around, I don't know.
The focus today is on the, all the trash in the yard. How are you gonna
All
get that
you
all
do-
cleaned up?
Well, the way the barrels are, they have them like every other week and so forth. So I guess maybe that's what they criticize us for. And we have just a small space
Put the
to
pictures
put
back
the
up.
stuff there and wait till it's our day and our turn to put it to the road. So maybe there wasn't a cover on one, I don't know, but it's,
We're gonna put those pictures back up so we can talk about the specific violations. Okay, so that's a lot of trash there. And we show the other one, the more recent one.
That is the more.
That's the most recent, okay,
That's the older one,
okay. And that first one was dated when?
in July 13th,
And the most recent one is
November 2nd.
November, okay. So this is one of the violations, so that's a lot of trash.
well, a lot of things I've missed because when the poison came in, I was taken to the hospital, and after that, I had 29 days in rehab, and it happened twice. And I'm going to say for myself, a woman can go only so far.
You have 8 children though, right?
Well, yes, I have, but 2 have died from diseases. But they are wonderful children. In fact, the oldest one was a principal of a school down south, and now she's free to go and do the world. And the other one works for a hospital. I worked with my husband and my 2 other people. We were, I hope it doesn't sound funny, but I was demolition and paving. In fact, one day I was given to take down a pole. They no longer used them in New York. And so I went to get the best I could, and that was a person from coming in to our facility. When he did that, I did the keep it very, very safe because a lot of people came there. And he went 1, 2, 3, and the whole thing went right across. And that was our job, to get it nice. Well, I went over, and the person that gave us the job gave me the check of $5,000. I walked right past my husband and bought a house.
Okay.
It was our second house. The children have had 2 houses all the time.
Well, that's very kind
Till
of you.
now.
I'm not sure I would do that for my children. So I agree that the trash in the yard
Pardon me?
is not good, and I don't doubt that
know-
that was harboring
you know,
rats.
They went in there and they gave right next to me a place of business. And I went to them and said, could I apply for it too? Oh, no, 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 no. It is there today. A business, the house in front of it, and lawn and so forth. The person here, that gives out those permits, he said, not for you. Now, my children could have done something there. They wanted to have one for fixing bicycles. Oh, no, 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 no. Everything is wrong in my place. It doesn't matter if there's noise at night fixing a truck or a boat or whatever. They use everything.
Did you have someone living in your shed?
Pardon me?
Did you have someone living in your shed?
Was I doing what?
Did you have someone else living on that property?
My boy is visiting for a short period. He came in for now, but he's not going to stay. And also, my daughter and her husband are going to come in for the holiday. So,
Can you get that trash back there cleaned up in 30 days?
oh yeah, it's already started. I mean, I'm so tired of those two neighbors just waiting until I can get out and walk. I mean, I probably don't know how bad it is, but I don't think so. They gave something to my son, a piece of furniture. Here, put this here, he said. I mean, what is it? First kill you and then retrieve you, or?
So that trash that we see in the picture, and maybe you haven't seen it because of your health, but that's trash in your
It is more
yard.
than my health, Your Honor. It's death. I sat over there, and my blood pressure is way up here. But I really wanted to live to say I worked hard there. And if they got the wherewithal and came to here to say she's got dad over there and she's got dad over there or whatever, instead of coming over and helping or telling me, they didn't tell me. Now, whoever they did, I don't know.
And if we could show the car, the vehicle. So whose vehicle is that? Is that yours? Okay.
I mean, to walk, I have to have my husband's safety belt. I'm in that wheelchair. I mean, even at home, he has to be there. Otherwise, so. he
So
wanted
does
to
that
do a lot
vehicle,
more.
can you drive that vehicle?
Pardon me?
Does that vehicle operate? Because it looks like it's got flat tires.
I don't want to live like that, Your Honor.
You don't have to call me Your Honor. But does that vehicle, can you get
I
that
mean,
vehicle
It
operating?
is so sad, person of myself that raises those 8 children, and just was happy as could be. But now I got a little something over there and a little something over there, and it's like, oh boy, she's got slush, she's got this, she's got that. I just can't get it. I mean,
Can you get
I
that
asked if
car
somebody would
operational?
help 'em do it. That's all
Can
I
you get
do.
that car operational in 30 days?
Pardon me?
That vehicle there in the picture,
Yeah, yeah.
can you get it working in 30 days?
Would I work? Yeah.
Can you get, is that vehicle operational?
I can't do it. I don't have money to hire somebody, but my daughter and her husband are coming in, and I know they'll probably take certain part of their time to help put his stuff away that's in the hall and so forth.
Okay.
In fact,
Can I have your husband come testify since since he's indicated that's his vehicle? Sir, if you don't mind.
he's helped me finish raise these kids. He's not the father. The father died already, so, you know.
Sir, if I can get your name.
Edwin Harris.
And that's your vehicle we see in the
Correct.
picture? Okay, what?
It's been sabotaged 9 times, vandalized, whatever you want to call it, starting the last couple days of last year. First 3 times I went and got fixed right away. Then I kind of gave up.
Okay,
And this was done intentionally. And my concern is if I replace the vehicle, the same thing might happen to the replacement vehicle.
right,
As an example, if I repaired the vehicle, if I repaired the 4 tires, same thing might happen to the repaired tires.
right.
So that's where I am on that.
That's unfortunate.
Totally disgusted on that subject.
Yeah,
Reported it to the police over and over again without a picture of somebody doing it.
right,
Ain't going nowhere with that one.
right, right. Okay, well, because it's now become a violation, because you can't have an inoperable vehicle.
My plan was when I got cataract surgery last month, the 19th, can't remember which one was which, the 19th and the 26th.
I think he's
And it's
lucky. At
30 days.
97, he doesn't have to look at an old lady.
At 30 days, the restrictions are gone, which happens in a week or 2.
Okay.
And I'm hopeful of repairing the tires 1 or 2 at a time after that.
He was mowing up till then.
And, sir, can you tell me anything about the fence? And
Yeah,
if that
the,
can get repaired?
Because of the situation with our guest, the next door neighbor on that side got all upset with me at one point and told me, stay away. So I stayed away. And if I can't go on his side to fix the fence, I can't fix the fence.
Why's that?
He got upset with our visitor,
Your son? Her
her
son?
son. He gets all upset when I tell him I'm his father.
Okay. So you can only repair that fence from the other side?
Both sides, need both sides. I put that fence up originally, 24 years ago maybe. And I've done a little bit of repairs to it since, but it needs more.
Okay,
The trash back there is from that person.
He came over that fence
She hasn't been in the backyard in 10 years,
I
to
suspected.
the electric.
so
Okay. Well,
last year, approximately a year ago, plus or minus, I cut half of the foliage down on the property, except for the one tree in the front yard and the one tree in the backyard. And this being Florida, the jungle has grown back in the 1 year. And there's a lot of places, including on both sides of Barney Avenue, where it is jungle. So now that we're past the hot weather and past my surgery, I can probably get back to work cutting again.
well, right now you're okay on the weeds and the overgrowth, but it's the vehicle, it's the fence, and it's that trash that needs to be taken care
I
of.
can work on
60 days to get all 3 done?
it. Okay.
Okay. Thank you. I appreciate you both coming.
You're welcome.
All right, I'll go ahead unless the
Now we
city.
can go back to our doctors.
Yes. City, anything additional to add?
No, ma'am.
Okay. I'll go ahead and make findings of fact, which is that proper notice of the violation and notice of the hearing was provided. The respondent and her husband are present, and based on the testimony and evidence, there is a violation of section 12-23, junk and debris, with the obvious trash in the backyard. Inoperative vehicle, sections 13-73, there's a vehicle with 4 tires that are flat. Understand that it was a result of vandalism, but it still needs to be repaired or removed. And then finally, IPMC section 302.7, accessory structures, which is the fence that has missing slats and is falling over, is the third violation. At this point, we're going to have, going to request compliance. Oh, shoot. I don't have the January calendar. What's the
January 8th would be the next meeting.
January 8th? Thank you. So January 5th, they're gone. January 5th. January 5th is the compliance date. $25 per violation per day for each and every violation that continues past January 5th of 2024. Costs will be imposed in the amount of $198.97. And somebody needs to get their children out there to clean that up.
Yeah, yes, ma'am. She was saying that one of the daughters was coming to visit. We'll see if we can't make contact with them or it's some other charitable organization that may be able to assist them.
Right, right. Yes. That was made clear. All right, that's that on that one. And what do we have next?
Our next case is 2359 Clark McClelland, 4100 Trinidad Avenue. May Wright is the inspector in this, and I believe we have a respondent. Yes.
Present. Okay, thank you. Officer Wright, long time no see.
So I have 3 items to submit for evidence. The first one is going to be the notice of violation affidavit of service. The second is going to be the notice of hearing and affidavit of service. And the third is going to be the cost recovery statement in the amount of $198.97.
Okay. Thank you. Exhibit 1 is the notice of violation and the affidavit of service.
Now, what was the date on that notice of violation?
Okay, hang on, sir. The notice of violation is dated April 25, 2023, and it's for nuisance, trash, trees, overgrowth. It's for nuisance, junk and debris. It's for property maintenance, roofs and drainage, vehicles, blue Chevy Nova, expired plates, window skylights, door frame. Is that it? That's it? Sounds like that's it. April 23rd, 25th.
Thank you.
And that's going to be Exhibit 1. Exhibit 2 is the notice of hearing for today's hearing. And Exhibit 3 is a cost recovery statement where the city is asking to recover its costs of prosecuting this case, costs in the amount of $198.97. Thank you, Officer Wright.
So again, this is the initial hearing for case number 2359. The respondent is Clark McClelland. Violation address and mailing address are the same, 4100 Trinidad Avenue, Titusville, Florida, 32780. The 5 violations, again, are Section 13-26, specifically for overgrowth, Section 12-23 for junk and debris, Section 13-73 for the inoperable vehicle. In the IPMC, it's subsection 30413, specifically for the doors, and then subsection 304.7, and this is for roof damage.
Okay.
So, while completing inspections in the area, I observed grass and weeds in the front yard, over 12 inches in height. Trees, bushes, and vines were growing up against the house and fences along the south and west sides of the property. Roof damage was observed on the northwest corner of the house. The blue Chevy Nova had flat tires and was parked on the driveway. In front of the car, along the garage, and along the walkway to the front door, a large accumulation of trash and debris was present. And then the front door, as well as a door on the south side of the house, was found to be damaged. Notice of violation was posted at the time of that inspection. So during the re-inspections, the grass in the front yard has been cut, but there's been no attempts to remove the overgrowth of the trees and bushes growing against the property lines, the fences, and against the house. No work has started to repair the roof damage or address the damaged doors, and the car is not moved from its original location on the driveway. So at the start of this case in April, there was 2 respondents, Colleen Spots and Clark McClelland. Certified letters were sent to both parties. In July, a quitclaim deed was registered for the property, removing Ms. Spots, and Mr. Clark is solely responsible from the property. I did attempt to make contact with Mr. Cleland, knock on the door every time I was there, phone messages, and I have not spoken with him. I do have a copy of that quitclaim deed if you would like that for the record.
When was your first, when was that? When was that transaction?
The transaction, the quitclaim deed was recorded July 12th of 2023. The original inspection was April 25th of 2023.
So probably by when you looked at the website, it still had her on it, probably initially, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So in April, I had noticed that probate had been executed on this property, and both Ms. Potts and Mr. Cleland was listed as the owners.
Okay.
The previous deceased party had been taken off.
Okay.
Do you need a copy of the quitclaim?
I do not, no,
Okay.
I do not, because your
Original notice.
I understand.
Okay. So the initial inspection again was April 25th, 2023 for this case. He was given until May 25th, 2023. The notice of violation was sent out on May 25th, 2023. The certified letter sent to the Trinidad address in Titusville was signed for on May 4th, 2023. And the certified mail sent to the New Smyrna address was signed for by Ms. Spots on April 29th of this year. So the notices of hearing were posted at City Hall and on the property where the violation exists on November 2nd, 2023. The certified letter was sent for the notice of hearing on October 11th. And the certified mail was returned unclaimed as of October 28th of this year. So this is a view of the house from the street. The overgrowth in this picture is for the trees and bushes around the house. This is the south side of the property. Again, the overgrowth along the south side of the house and along the shared property line. This is on the north side of the house, the backyard and side yard, a close-up view of the backyard with the weeds and the overgrowth. This is a close-up of the roof damage on the northwest corner. According to the neighbors, the damage happened during one of the hurricanes last fall. This is a picture of the inoperable vehicle. As you can see, flat tires. This is a picture of some of the trash and debris in front of the car along the garage. And this is the debris piled at the front door. And again, along the walkway up to the front door. And these are close-ups of the two exterior doors. On the left, we've got the exterior door on the back side of the garage that's damaged. And on the right is a close-up of the front door, again, lacking proper hardware. So for the conclusions of fact, for violation 13-26 for the overgrowth, weeds in the backyard are over 12 inches in height, and then we've got the overgrowth of tree limbs, bushes, and vines against the house and the fences on the shared property lines. For section 12-23 for junk and debris, we have the accumulation of trash along the garage and the front walkway to the front door. Section 13-73 for the inoperable vehicle. This is for the Chevrolet Nova on the driveway. For 304.13, this is for the doors. We've got two exterior doors that are deteriorated and no longer in sound condition. And finally, 304.7, the roof has been damaged, is deteriorated, no longer weather resistant or weather tight. So we are requesting that the respondent be ordered to correct the violations on or before January 5th of 2024. To comply, we are asking that the overgrowth of trees and bushes be cut back from around the house and along the shared property lines, and that the grass and weeds in the yard remain cut. We ask that the inoperable vehicle either be removed from the property or demonstrated that the vehicle is operational and submit proof of current registration. We request that the accumulation of trash and debris be removed from the property. And then we ask that the roof and doors are repaired. We also are asking that administrative costs in the amount of $198.97 be assessed. And that if compliance is not completed by January 5th, that a fine of $25 per day per violation be imposed.
Thank you. Sir, would you like to come forward?
Yes, thank you. Appreciate it.
If you could tell me your name and your address.
Yes, Clark McClelland, 4100 Trinidad Avenue, Titusville.
And you reside at this property?
Yes.
Correct. Okay. So you've heard the
Yes.
the list of violations, and if the officer is proposing that those items be brought into compliance, basically she's giving you about 60 days by January 5th of 2024.
Thank you, ma'am. I am currently and have been for quite some time in a state of utter debilitation with mental diagnoses. I have a letter from my psychologist attesting to at least 4 of the diagnoses I can present to you.
All right.
I have spoken with Ms. Wright. I believe it was back in April or May of last year about the conditions. I did leave a voicemail with her. It was late July, early August. I did leave a voicemail with her reiterating my conditions that render me dysfunctional. Just to get out to an event such as this, it takes me hours just to get out of the house because of the Tourette syndrome, bidding me to touch things, shampoo bottles. Everything I touch, I have to touch a dozen times. So it literally takes me hours to get out the door. Usually I do not, when I get out of the house, I don't get out until 4:35 p.m. So I was not able to get to the post office to pick up that last certified letter. I did receive the tag, the note in my mailbox. So I knew about the letter, but I couldn't get down there. I am currently not working and do not have an income. I have 0 funds. 0 income, 0 funds. I'm unable to work because of the conditions. I have already, around the time of the pandemic, I put in my first application for disability status. And because of a date discrepancy on the application, I was denied that under my first application. And over the last 10 to 12 months, I've been contacting attorneys, disability attorneys, because I did not use an attorney the first time, therefore didn't know about the discrepancy of the date. So I would like to use an attorney. I have called, ma'am, 8 attorneys over the past 10 or so months, 10 to 12 months, and not one has gotten back with me. And I have left details, like I can't get out of the house.
Yeah.
Upon the initial notice by Ms. Wright, I did have the grass, I found someone, I had a grass person over a year ago coming, and he did the grass 3 or 4 times over the summer, and everything looked fine as far as the grass and the weeds and such. I tried to contact him last summer. I don't know how, at least a half a dozen times, and he never returned my calls. I have a friend who I thought could perhaps suggest someone else to me, and he finally got back with me, and that individual came and was able to cut the grass, but it took 3 or 4 months to get somebody to cut the grass because I cannot do it myself. But I was aware of that, and I did take care of that. My mother passed away, it'll be 3 years ago. The anniversary is coming up a week before Christmas. It was on the 18th of December. And I have had an extremely rough time. She supported me and buttressed pragmatic things I needed to do when I could not do so because of my conditions. And when she passed away, that was removed from under my feet, like, you know, without any kind of warning. It was a surprise demise. We did not expect her to be dying. And so all of that was removed. And on top of just dealing with her death, you know, it's been ferociously difficult. I did also clip some, I think this was in April, upon the initial notice. I also did clip some of the foliage that is around the front door, and I removed half to 3/4 of the boxes that were sitting in front of the door. Yes, according to the photograph, more did accumulate. They're simply boxes. There's nothing that would attract vermin or anything in the boxes. The holidays are coming up now, and I do not have an income, and I have 0 funds. So I cannot repair the roof, which was damaged by a hurricane. My mother did call FEMA, and FEMA came out in the middle of, it was like 9:30 p.m. in the dark of the night and could not even really ascertain the damage. And so nothing was followed up as far as the hurricane cause of the damage on that. I did have, and I did tell Ms. Wright also about this, that I had a friend come over and patch up the entire north side of that roof where you saw the photograph. Unfortunately, he's married with children and he is rarely available, but he did come over and totally patched up that entire side of the roof to make sure that nothing was going to be leaking in. And
Do
it
you have any problems with water leaking?
nothing, his patching prevented the leaks.
When was that patching?
It was either mid to late August or the first weekend of September, around there, the end of the summer. And that did prevent leakage. I haven't seen any leakage. The vehicle that's sitting in the driveway is just another source of anxiety, and I don't know what to do about it. It's not a junk car. My mother, a year or so prior to her passing, and against my wishes, put like at least $2,000 or $2,500 into that car, rebuilding the entire engine. So it's really not a junk car. The last piece of work she had done on it was to have the starter replaced. And I sat out there and watched the gentleman. He came, usually we went to a mechanic, but he came and did it in our driveway. And he said that he was missing a lug nut or something, and he was rigging something up so that it would stay in place. Well, I was able to start the car 2 or 3 times after that last piece of repair. And then the starter went out and I wasn't able to start it again. That's what caused it to be stationary in the driveway. And I'm at a standstill as to what to do, because it does have, I believe, two flat tires. All 4 of them are not flat. I'm in a quandary as to what to do about it, because my mother, having spent $2,500 rebuilding the engine, I don't want to just sell it as junk for a couple $100. So I just am in a mental quandary as to what to do about that. I understand it's sitting there and should not be there.
Will it fit in the garage?
I used to keep it, yes, in the garage. Yes, it would. And my mother, a lot of the material in the garage was from my mom. I did keep the car in the garage the entire time I had it. It was like 2 years prior to the rebuilding of the engine. My mother started to place boxes and some of her things to clear out her material. And it caused me to have to keep it in the driveway at that point. And I have not been able to, just emotionally, I can hardly open the boxes. I know it needs to be done, and I would like to keep the car in there again. But I can't even open the boxes because they contain personal items that she wanted to keep, and keepsake items and such. And in addition, I have contacted a couple acquaintances over in Orlando since my first meeting with Ms. Wright. And a couple of them have indicated that they would like to come over for a single day and budge me along and do some help. The one gentleman told me a date it was like last May. And then he had to postpone it, and he hasn't had any time. He's been too busy starting a new job. And then a second gentleman was going to come over a day. Then he had to leave the state for 6 months. And I'm waiting to hear back from the second gentleman, because he's back from out of state and perhaps might be able to come over for a single day and give me some help in amongst his busyness. So I have not been neglecting. I've been doing as much as is in my power to, correct the situations at the house.
And the doors?
Yes, the door was operational until one night I had to go to the grocery store, and having trained myself and not having done this for years, locked my keys in my car, and I had to come back and, because I had a second set of keys in the car, in the house, but I had to break into the door, and that's what busted the door. And I have not had the funds to fix it. I am still in the process of trying to find an attorney to walk my way through the second application for disability so that perhaps I could have a minimal, at least amount of income to where I could put toward the things that are gonna, the items that are going to require money at the house. But at the current time, I don't have an income. And I had an appointment with my psychologist on just a month or so ago on October 9th. And this is when he ascertained everything he had diagnosed when I was seeing him regularly on a bi-monthly basis prior, during, and after the pandemic until my mother passed away, and then some months after she passed away. So he provided this attestation of what's happening with me.
Right. So I read the letter, I understand, and I understand it's difficult. I lost my mother right before Christmas 20 years ago, and Christmas has never been the same. I always think it's a good idea to tackle one thing at a time, and you have a fairly short list of items.
I believe that if I can reach this gentleman, the second gentleman I mentioned, he might be able to come over and help me with the clipping, and that is probably the most imminent item that I could take care of.
Well, and then picking up some of the boxes.
Oh, and the box, that's included in the
That-
boxes and such, yes. Yeah.
I know some of that is hard to start, but you've got to just do the baby steps right now. You've got to just do what you
But even when I touch the box, the anxiety just bursts out into my head, and I have to touch it again and again, lay it down on the ground again and again. And it's so, it's such a, it's such a dreadful thing that to anticipate that it's hard to get started. Mm-hmm. I mean, even walking out the door to go meditate somewhere or read somewhere, it takes hours.
Yep.
And I'm working on trying to get some kind of an income, as I've stated.
Right. I think that you're in a difficult situation, most definitely, and the city will want to work with you. I want to work with you, and I understand your personal issues, and I would just say one thing at a time. And once you start getting one thing done, then it kind of helps give you the strength to do the next thing on the list. I would start with the easier items, like the overgrowth and the debris. And you're going to have to do something about the vehicle. Eventually, you'll have to get that roof repaired and the doors repaired. I can give you a little more time than what's been recommended, since you do have some issues that might cause you to take longer than other people, and I understand that as well. So why don't we work on getting the accumulation of stuff done by January 5th, and the overgrowth done by January 5th, and then the vehicle, I think, can be by January 5th as well, but the doors and the roof, I would say February, whenever our February meeting would be, that Friday before. 12th would be the Friday before? Okay, so February 9th for the roof and February 9th for the doors. So I'll go ahead and, unless the city has anything to add or Okay, I'll go ahead and make the finding of the violations of junk and debris, inoperative vehicle, overgrowth, doors and roof, and compliance date of January 5th, 2024 for the junk and debris, inoperative vehicle, and the overgrowth, and a compliance date of February 9th for the door frames and for the roof violation. And we'll stick with the $25 per day per violation. I'll waive costs in this case. So no costs will be imposed, but a fine in the amount of $25 per day per violation will start to accrue on those 3 first violations if they're not complied with by January 5th. And then the next set of violations will begin to run February 10th if they're not corrected. I strongly encourage you to stay in touch with Officer Wright and let her know your progress.
Sure.
Okay? So no costs will be imposed for this case, and take your baby steps and start working on one by one.
Okay, I appreciate it.
Okay, and you'll get an order in the mail.
Okay,
Okay? Thank you, sir, and good luck.
thank you, Mr. Nutcher.
I got a voicemail, but I never got any return calls. I called back.
Okay, thank you.
All right, we have one last
One
case.
last one.
Yes, ma'am. 23-60, Francis McKaylee and John McKaylee, 4320 Abbott Avenue, and May Wright's the inspector in this case.
Officer Wright.
So once again, I have 3 items for exhibit. The first one is the notice of violation affidavit of service. The second is the notice of hearing and affidavit of service. And the third is the cost recovery statement in the amount of $322.24.
That's a high one. All right, so exhibit 1 will be the notice of violation that shows electrical, windows, skylights, doors, exterior walls, roofs and drainage, interior surfaces, rubbish, garbage, plumbing, interior maintenance. I think that's it, yes? Okay,
Yeah, there was 8 in the original notice, and there's 7 current violations.
okay. So that will be exhibit 1. Exhibit 2 is the notice of hearing and affidavit of service, and exhibit 3 is the cost recovery statement in the amount of $322.24, which is a little higher than normal. You've had a lot of inspections, is that right?
Yes,
Okay,
trying to give them goals, trying to knock off small items,
okay,
answer questions, things of that nature.
okay.
So once again, this is the initial hearing for case number 2360. The respondent is Francis McLee and John McLee. The violation address and mailing address are the same, 4320 Abbott Avenue, Titusville, Florida, 32780. Do you want me to go over the violations again? Okay.
No.
So the initial inspection on this case was January 6th of this year. The date given to comply was March 5th, 2023. Certified and first-class letters were mailed on February 2nd, 2023, and the certified mail was signed for on February 9th of 2023. The notice of hearing was posted at City Hall and on the property where the violation exists on November 2nd. And certified and first-class mail was mailed on October 11th. The certified mail was signed for on October 13th of this year. So,
someone is receiving notice.
yes. The property had a history of violations for overgrowth, the accumulation of trash and debris on the property. In the fall of 2022, the house did suffer damages during both hurricanes. So when I completed my inspection in January of 2023 and February of 2023, I was finding an increase in the amount of trash and debris on the property, being stored inside the house and on the exterior. We've got exterior or damage to the roof in the exterior carport. We had windows with broken glazing or that would not shut. The interior of the house was in an unsanitary condition, with rotting food, garbage, just an accumulation of trash. There was evidence of an active water leak along the kitchen wall and in the utility room. The kitchen has been under renovation since 22. And again, we're lacking a kitchen sink, we're lacking sheetrock and insulation on the ceiling and in the kitchen and living room area. For electrical, the electrical panel in the utility room had exposed wirings due to a missing cover. We also had exposed wiring in the kitchen. So like I said, there was a previous code case. I did close out in January and issue the new notice of violation in January and February to address all of the current violations. So in June, a permit was issued for a complete roof replacement. The work was finished in July and passed final inspection August 1st. No other work has started to the interior of the structure. Some attempts have been made to clean up inside and outside, but again, conditions have not improved that much. And again, I have spoken with Frances McLee on numerous occasions and multiple adult family members that live in the house with her. So our first picture here is for our electrical violations. This is the electrical panel in the utility room, as well as some of the exposed wiring in the partially renovated kitchen. This is pictures of two of the windows that have damaged glazing. These windows, I don't know if properly shut, but they do have the air conditioner units in those. This is both a picture of some of the accumulation of trash and debris on the property, as well as damage to the exterior wall. This is the north side of the carport. This is the interior of the house. This is actually the ceiling and some of the repairs you can see from a previous roof leak. They did do repairs to the ceiling from that July permit. But currently, this is what the ceiling of the living room still looks like. There's no insulation, there's no sheetrock. This is the another view of the kitchen. Again, we've got damage to the ceiling. We've got, this is also another view of some of the trash and debris that's accumulated inside the house. Again, no kitchen sink. This was a picture taken November 2nd. This is a picture showing the active water leak in the carport, and again, the accumulation of different trash. It is my understanding that the two appliances in this picture do not currently work. This is a picture of the front walkway. Again, we've got just a pile of different trash and debris up against the house at the front door. This picture is from September 20th. I had not been able to get into the interior in the last 45 days. But this was the picture as of September 20th. We've got loose debris piled up and trash in the fireplace. Next to the chair, there is rotting food sitting out on the table. At this point in September, they had cleared a walking path for Miss Francis. That is not the case anymore. The debris is just piled up and things have been moved around.
Is she in a wheelchair or?
She utilizes a walker to get around. So does several of the other family members. They have walking issues and health issues. For general interior maintenance, we're looking at unsanitary conditions specifically for section 305.1. This is a picture of the bathroom out in the utility room. This is the source of the water leak, and it has been indicated to me this is the source of the water leak. Just definitely unsanitary condition.
That's not the only.
I'm sorry, that's not the only bathroom, no. That is a half bath outside. There's another full bathroom inside the house. So we do have, for the conclusions of fact, for the electrical equipment, we've got exposed wiring in the kitchen, and the breaker box missing a cover. For windows, skylights, and doors, we've got multiple windows with damage and cracked glazing. For exterior walls, cracks, holes, rotten materials. For our interior surfaces, this is concerning the sheetrock and the cabinets, things of that nature in the kitchen and in the living room. 308.1, the accumulation of rubbish and garbage. This is for the exterior of the house and in the carport area. 502.1 for the plumbing. This is the missing kitchen sink and active water leak. And then 305.1, general interior maintenance. Again, this is for the unsanitary condition due to the accumulation of rubbish and garbage inside the house.
Now the roof and drainage, is that complied with their permit?
They received a permit in June of 23. The work was finished in July, and they passed final inspection August 1st.
So is that no longer an issue?
The roof, it is 100% brand new roof. They did a beautiful job. They replaced a lot of soffit and fascia that was also damaged, but they were only hired to do the roof, and that's the only thing.
So
that company worked.
number 8, we can take that off the list then? That's on the agenda.
Yes.
Okay.
I apologize.
Okay.
Yes, the roof is in compliance at this time.
Okay. And your recommendation?
Due to the number of items, I was requesting 60 days, so a compliance date of January 5th, 2024. Again, repairs to the electrical system, windows and doors, the exterior wall, address the water leak, the lack of the kitchen sink, removal of the garbage and debris inside the structure, including the carport and that being stored around the exterior. clean up the interior of the property, return it to a sanitary condition, and then obtain any permits depending on the scope of work they're going to need. The electrical may require permits if they fully replace the windows, and not just the glazing, that'll require permits. Again, depending on the scope of the plumbing, that may require permits. We are asking that the respondents be assessed the administrative costs of $322.24. And if they fail to comply by January 5th, 2023, a fine of $25 per day per violation, and that is for 7 existing violations.
Do you
Be
get,
assessed.
do you get the sense that there's an income problem or lack of?
I do think medical issues for several of the adults living there. Specifically, Miss Francis is definitely unable to do the work herself.
I have a question.
Yes, financial issues are occurring. Yes, ma'am?
Miss Wright, do you know who financed the roof permit work?
No.
No. Do you know what contractor or company did the work?
Not off the top of my head, but I can get you that information.
That's fine, I can look it up.
Okay. And the respondent, they are not present. You can see. All right, go ahead and find that there is a violation of the 7 cited codes: electrical, windows, exterior walls, interior surfaces, rubbish, garbage, plumbing, and general interior maintenance. Some of them are fairly serious. I mean, the unsanitary conditions with all those people with various medical conditions is a little concerning. I'm going to suggest, I'm going to order a $50 per day per violation fine if the violations are not corrected by January 5, 2024. That is the compliance date. Costs will be imposed in the amount of $322.24. And I find that proper notice was provided and the respondents did not appear. And respondents are ordered to contact Officer Wright when they have come into compliance with any violation. And if there's anything else from the city on that one, we're done with that one.
Thank you.
Thank you. Code Manager, any announcements?
No, ma'am, that's all we have.
No announcements from me, and we are adjourned.